What is going on, guys? It is Uncle Nick, and like I said, I'll be going over some competition prep stuff, and what that is going to consist of is what I'm gonna have in my gym bag, things like that, things I do right before, the night before, and the day of, snacks, the stuff I eat while I'm competing. I will be weighing in the night before, so I'll be able to eat a nice big meal the night of, if everything goes as planned. And then I'll be able to eat a nice big meal the morning of. Now, I won't eat right before I compete. I'll eat probably 2 hours before I compete, and then I'll kind of snack and graze throughout the day. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I got all my stuff kind of laid out here, and I'm just gonna go over some of the things I'm going to be using in my gym bag that I'm gonna be bringing with me. Some are extras in case something happens, just things like that, just kind of in case, it's a just in case. I don't ever want to be unprepared for anything that I might need. There are a few items that I do not have with me because they're home, and I just try to keep everything consolidated. I don't try to move stuff around too much because then I'm scatterbrained, I'll lose it, so I just keep them right where they're at. But the stuff that I have with me mostly is gym equipment. So we're gonna go over now what's in my gym bag on a comp day. Now, there's a few mitigating factors that go into that. And one of them is the events. What are the events? So those events for this competition are a max height keg load, which I don't know why you would do an event based on someone's height.
Tell them how you really feel.
It's kind of stupid. Like, but when it comes down to it, which I'm not a very tall guy to begin with, and I lose an event just because I'm 5'9", that seems kind of stupid, because then it's not a strength issue, it's a height issue. And I already have enough height issues as it is, like when Billy put shit on the top shelf in here. Asshole. I don't need another one. But anyways, back on track, enough of that rabbit hole. There are also a 50-foot farmer's carry, so it's 50 foot down, stop, drop, turn, 50 foot back. Same thing with the yoke, 50 foot down, 50 foot back for 100 foot total. The press medley, which I mentioned before, 4 implements, 120-second time limit to get through those twice. And then the final event is the max Hummer tire deadlift. So I'm gonna bring what I need for those lifts. Now to start with, obviously I'm going to bring my belt and my belt vise and or lever. A guy here makes them for us and they're super handy. You can fit a single prong, fit a double prong, it doesn't matter. But I use a 13mm Inzer belt. It's probably the best belt on the market, hands down. Their customer service is terrible. You'll order it and then not hear anything from them, and then it'll just show up like 6 to 12 weeks later. But it's absolutely worth the wait. I've had this for almost 2 years now, and it's still pretty stiff, and I love it. I'm never gonna get any other belt besides an Inzer belt. On to next is something you see me wear all the time. That is my knee and elbow sleeves. Now I use the Slingshot or the Strong sleeves, the Mark Bell sleeves. I will never wear any other sleeve than these. They are amazing, I love them, they're comfortable. Some are a little more aggressive than others. You just gotta find what fits and what's comfortable. But I wear them for just about everything. Keep my knees and elbows warm, keep those joints warmed up. The next thing is, it's basically a knee sleeve or an elbow sleeve for your hips, compression shorts. These are Ray-Bans, I believe, not like the sunglasses. R-E-H-B-A-N-D, Ray-Ban, however you want to say it. But it's basically like almost a wetsuit material. It's fairly thick and it keeps that area warm. They're not like squat shorts, they're not that heavy. You're not getting anything weight-wise out of them, but they do give you compression in the groin and in the hips, and I love them. I definitely notice a lot less achiness in my hips after heavy squats. I used to get that a lot. I actually need to get a new pair. These are getting kind of ragged out and need to be washed. Moving on. Next are my lifters. Now, I don't have any squatting events, but I do all my overhead stuff in lifters because of the stability they offer. I use Innovate Fast Lifts. They're extremely light. You see a lot of people use the Adidas, Adidas Power, or whatever they're called, the Nike Romuloses, but I'm not into paying $250 for a damn shoe. These are like 100 to 150 bucks, super light, and they're cut wide. I got super wide feet, so I have to be very careful what I order offline because I never know and I have to make sure they're wide. But Innovate, they're big in like the running and trail running and training type shoes, and these are my favorite shoes thus far. Plus you don't see them very often, but I've had them for 2 years now and I still don't need a new pair. So I'm gonna run these into the ground, but that is something I always have in my comp bag is my lifters. Next is my other pair of shoes, which is what I do everything else in. My New Balance Minimuses. I love Minimuses. One, New Balance is another company that cuts their shoe wide. And the way these shoes work actually, it's basically gives you something with as little as possible. Nice flat surface, it's not squishy, it's hard, you can kind of feel the ground, which is what I love about them. And the shoe, the tongue of the shoe actually wraps around into the actual shoe itself. So the tongue's not separate and it kind of combines and gives you a lot of support for such a little and lightweight shoe. I mean, you can do anything with these. I wore these, I got into these through the military. I was big into Minimuses when running, doing PT stuff in the military, but I use, if I'm not my lifters, I'm in these or I'm barefoot. So I love the New Balance Minimuses. I actually talked Brian into getting a pair as well, and Brian loves them too. The next thing on the list. The next thing on the list is going to be my lifting straps, which I probably need a new pair of those. As you can see, those are tearing. These are just some, I think they're Strength Shop. I use the Slingshot ones, which I like too. They're hanging up somewhere else, but I've been using these. I kind of use them for all the dumb stuff that doesn't require grip, or I'm trying to overload my back on something. But they've held up pretty good so far. But I'm gonna be using these on the max ever deadlift. So if I do have a long pull, I'm not gonna run into a grip issue. I'm gonna run into either my straps breaking or I'm just not pulling it off the ground. So I'm definitely gonna have straps in for this event because there is a farmer's carry. So if my deadlift is before the farmer's carry, I don't wanna waste any grip strength on the deadlift because I wanna have a nice solid grip come farmer's carry time. Right, Bill, what do you think?
That was very eloquently put. Yes.
What? What'd you say?
Fucking bastard, either.
On that note, we're moving on. Next thing on the list is my wrist wraps. I use the Gangster Wraps by Slingshot. These are pretty new. New ones, old ones. New ones, old ones. But I love these. They're, I think, 20, what do you think these are, Billy? 36? 24 inches. They're long, but I like them because they have like this neutral thumb hole. So it's not a little eyelet like you get on these, but on these it's neutral, or you can run the strap through it. So it doesn't matter which side you put it on. You can run it through. If you don't like a loop around your thumb, you can just run it through, snug them down on your wrist. Good to go. But I use these for the press because, especially the circus dumbbell, because the circus dumbbell actually digs in right here. I've got a bunch of bumps and scars from it. And for the press medley, I'm going to be using my wrist wraps 100% because it's a lot of pressing. And you don't want any weak links in the chain. And these are somewhere in between mild support and casting. But I love them. I'll probably never use any other wrist wrap for pressing than the Gangster Wraps. Love everything about them. But that is a must-have for my gym bag on a comp day. Another thing I'll be bringing is an extra shirt. So why am I bringing an extra shirt? I'm bringing an extra shirt because you get hot and sweaty. Now most comps you have to wear the comp shirt. And I don't want to pay for another comp shirt. So in between events, I'm going to change out the shirt. Now this comp won't have any tacky or anything like that. So I don't have to worry about getting tacky all over the shirt. And usually in events where you will be using tacky, they make that the last event of the day. So is that they don't get tacky on the shirts, they get tacky on other implements. But there won't be any tacky used. So I will be bringing an extra shirt. So in between events, I'll be changing out of my comp shirt so it doesn't get all wet and sweaty. And who knows, it could be nice and cool in the AC in there, or it could be hot because there will be a bunch of people at the fitness expo. Who knows? But I'm bringing an extra shirt to change out of in between events so as not to ruin and make my comp shirt all sweaty. And I don't want it to get all sweaty because stuff for cleaner presses or loading, I do not want that to compromise the lift, whether it be for sliding and whatnot. So that is why I'm bringing an extra shirt. I'm also bringing a few warm-up / recovery items. Now I'm bringing a heavy band, I'm bringing a light band, and I'm bringing a hip circle. Also, something to roll out on. I'm not bringing this specific one, but I have one at the house. It's a lot shorter, I travel with. So in between events, if I need to roll out, I can roll out. To warm up, hip circle, kind of get my hips moving, everything firing, stretch out my hamstrings, do kind of band and good mornings, get my back starting to warm up before deadlifts, stuff like that, but mainly to stretch out before events. I just do a few stretches before each event, kind of get a little bit loose, a little bit warmed up, some band resistance exercises along with that. I'll probably stretch with this one and do band resistance stuff with this one, like band and good mornings, things like that to help get everything warmed up before I step up to the platform and do my actual warm-ups with the weight. Another thing is the lacrosse ball. I start getting cramps or kind of get knotted up or something feels tight. I will use a lacrosse ball to really isolate that region and dig in there and see if I can work that out. Like I said, prepared for anything. And a lacrosse ball is a cheap and valuable tool you can add to your arsenal. They usually come in like 6-packs, but I love these things. They hurt so good. They hurt. 2 more things. So athletic tape and vet wrap. Now, you all know what athletic tape is. You've all seen it. Now, if I tear a callus or need to tape up something or something of that nature, this is the way to go. I mean, shit, if my shoe rips, I'm just gonna tape the hell out of it. Vet wrap. Now, if I had stones or something, I would wrap my forearms or something like that, or wrap my biceps, so I'm not ripping off too much skin and get a little more traction on the stone. I'll wrap this over my elbow sleeves, so the elbow sleeves are usually wet with sweat. So by wrapping them with this, it gives it a nice rubber coating. I get more traction on the stone with these. Now, there is none of that here really, so what I'm gonna be using this for is on the heavy yoke and the farmers, I'm going to be taping my ankles. Now, I'm not actually taping, but I'm using the vet wrap. It's a little more flexible than the athletic tape. So with the moving, it has a little more stretch, but it also gives you the support you would get from the tape, which I like. I'm not all sticky and pulling hair off of my leg afterwards. So that is why I go with the vet wrap to wrap my ankles. And I don't do it super tight, but I don't really do it loose. I do enough just to get that compression on my ankles, and they usually feel a lot better after running with that much weight. Obviously, I'm bringing chalk. Bring a little brick of chalk. Now something like this here will last months. I've had the same brick of chalk for comps that I've used in literally every single strongman competition I've ever done. It's still the same brick since day one. And I just use that one for comps. It's not anything special. I just leave it home like I said earlier. I keep it at home in the same spot with all my other stuff because I won't lose it that way. If I don't mess with it, I can't lose it. But chalk is definitely a necessity. Bring your own chalk. Do not rely on other people to have that stuff for you, even though 9 out of 10 people will have their own chalk. But don't be that guy that comes around asking for common sense shit like chalk. And don't rely on the promoter and the event to have it for you because you never know. I have the same stuff every single time. Even if I don't need it, I have it. If someone else needs it, I have it. I always like having extra because there's without a doubt always new people that show up and they're not exactly sure what they need, or they might not expect they might be needing something. So if there's something that I have that someone doesn't, even if I'm competing against them, I will without a doubt give them what they need if it's within my ability. That's the great thing about strongman for the most part, is just about everybody you meet will help you. We're cheering each other on, helping each other out. If I don't have chalk, somebody give me chalk. If I don't have a band or something I need to stretch out with or straps, someone will without a doubt give you straps. And that is one of the great things about all this. That is about it, guys. That is about everything I have that I'm taking with me. Like I said, I'm not a I do not like to overpack, but I don't like to be underprepared. I get everything I do need, and then a little bit more, and I still have room in case I want to add some extra snacks or something, whatever it may be, which I'll probably do because I'm a snacker. But until next time, guys, you know what the deal is. Get out there, get after it, and embrace the suck.